It's immense feelings we all have for him, and because we all know how average we were, especially on offense our first year. And if you don't have that kid, you start your coaching career here at Ohio State with a 500 or 8-5 or 4 or whatever it is, and if you don't get momentum, then those other great things just don't. It doesn't happen. It certainly doesn't happen in that kind of time frame. And Braxton was an ultimate competitor, and is an ultimate competitor, and so it just means a lot to us. Well, Lou Holtz used to always remind me, he said, a lot of times you do your best coaching when you just take over, because you don't really care. You don't know their families. Sometimes you don't want to know their families. You just, and then then you get the emotional ties, like very emotional ties with some of the names you just mentioned. But, you mentioned that 2012 group, and that is good a group of leaders that we've ever been around. And then this group would challenge them because, well, there's still a lot of football to be played. But there is a difference because, I didn't know those kids. By the end, we certainly did. But for those first 6 months, it was odd, or just wasn't comfortable because you just don't know each other and you don't necessarily like each other, but you have to coach them because you got a job to do. And then you turn out and you love those guys like we did. So it is different. You just really learn to appreciate ones you're with for that long, for 4 years, and those are usually the relationships that last for 20 years. Well, it's just obvious. I think right now we're one of the top teams again in field position. Last year I think we were #1 team, and that's Kerry Combs always does that. I want to say we're second or third right now in the country in field position. Average start offense, average start defense, and then you combine, and I don't have that in front of me. That's something that we study, look at, evaluate that, and the turnover margin in big games. It's stating the obvious, but that's the obvious. And turnovers along with field position. And field positions created by lack of penalties on special teams. When you get a chance to pin a team down in there, that's where I think we've done a much better job this year. Our defense is doing a good job keeping them there. You remember, there's nothing more demoralizing. You pin them down there, and the next thing you know, you're at the 50-yard line.
I also want to just ask you, Mark D'Antonio, he's kind of raised the level of Mark D'Antonio since he's been at Michigan State. Just what does he, when you coach against his teams, is there anything that stands out about what he's
Sure. I think, you put the top 5, 6, 7 coaches in America, he's certainly there, and then you just watch. I always watch special teams, and I always watch the little things. It's one of my own little tradition on Sunday, what you just mentioned, turnover margin, those type of things. And yeah, I've known Coach for a long time, and we're friends. I wouldn't say good friends, but we're friends, and it's obvious what he's done for that program. I've always had great respect, even back at the Notre Dame days, for this team. Good fan base, good stadium, and kids are usually tough guys, and I know our players, they respect him as well.
Front or right, Austin?
Oh, I'll have a bunch of those because I love these kids. Braxton's going to be a tough one, but you got Josh, you got Adolphus, you got some incredible ones. Taylor, they're incredible guys. So don't want to think about it. Just got to go win this game.
And the other thing, like you just talked about a while ago, you haven't addressed, you haven't had that big talk with your team about the state of the. Do you see a team that is focused? I mean, is that why you haven't noticed distractions? I mean, what just stands out about this team and its, I guess, focus?
Well, I think there's identification of where we're not 9 strong yet, and we're working awful hard to get there. And it's not one unit. It's this game. It wasn't quite where we needed to be. And we're seeing a little bit of this, which I'm fine with that. If you see 2 or 3 dog units, we got a problem, like we had a couple years ago. We don't have that. We don't have that. Every once in a while, a unit does, and I feel in the room there's such an urgency to get that fixed. That I think that's the term culture comes in, and so everyone's is very workmanlike and businesslike.
And last thing, will you not know until Saturday, midway through the second quarter or something, whether you've gotten fixed the pass protection problems?
That's going to be this group. You're going to very good defensive line, so that's going to be. I'll let you know when the clock strikes 0 after the game's over.
We do have